Waffles.
Potatoes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
We don't know yet. There's a distinct description. No, not description. There's a distinct. What's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. What is the word you're looking for?
There's a distinct difference between waffles and potatoes. Because a waffle, you can beat people to hell with.
Well, there's potato pancakes that can be turned into waffles.
Really?
Well, you can like shape them into waffles.
A waffle's round.
No, it's not.
What? Are there
Waffles is
non?
square.
No, they're round.
That's pancake.
That's a waffle. I'm
What kind of
pretty
waffles have you been eating?
normal waffles.
Apparently not.
Are you sure about this?
Yes.
Then you're like from some distant waffle. I don't fucking know.
I don't know what you're talking about either. Let's just get on with the stream.
Are you sure?
You're in a little world of your own there.
Are you sure about this?
Yes, I'm very sure.
I don't think you're sure enough.
If I have to show you a picture of a waffle, I will.
I just want to make sure that my screen is shared with you so you see what the hell I'm doing too.
Yeah, good idea.
There. I'm sorry, we're just getting into like the biggest discussion on waffles, and we're probably not here for that. Sorry about that. Actually, what we're here for is something a bit different than what we normally do. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Why don't you explain?
We are playing or making a game with RPG Maker VX Ace.
And in case nobody knows what that is, because some people have never heard of it, it is a program where you do not require much coding skill or um, art design skill to use this, but it's still pretty tricky. So with
Yeah, it's somewhat difficult, but it's better when you know what you're doing.
exactly, so that's why we decided to make a guide. This
Yeah, I
is
forgot.
yay. This is more of a we're going to show you the tricks and turns of what RPG Maker is really about. And little things that you can normally do with it that not a lot of people know about.
Should be fun
Should
and
be.
interesting. And actually interesting. Not many people do this, so this is like actually interesting.
And if anyone hasn't noticed, games such as To the Moon on Steam are games that have been made through RPG Maker. So if you're really
Yeah.
fluent with it, you can actually do something really interesting.
Yep.
So, as you can plainly see from my screen here, this is the main thing of what RPG Maker looks like. There's not numbers all over the place and all the fun stuff of Java and C++, but it's very simple in that you can kind of make the map you want right here and then work with the database to kind of piece together your own game.
Kind of wish that. Yeah, there's your mouse right there.
My mouse is just
Yeah,
I
that's not
haven't
showing on
moved it,
that. It's
so
not showing on on the stream. That's why I'm worried.
oh, it's just because I haven't touched anything yet. But to get back to the point,
Yeah.
this is the main HUD for your map design. You could see how it's all water right now because I haven't really done anything. Up here you have your various buttons and tools that you can use to kind of change up your game depending on what you want. Here are the three main buttons you're probably going to use mostly. This will switch to editing mode for your map. So
Make
you
land.
what?
Make land.
Yes. So I'm not swimming
Land
in the
ho.
land ho. There. Now I'm not swimming in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean or Pacific, depending. Doesn't matter. So this is to you kind of click on what tile you want, click and drag, have a little fun with it. This is the eventing mode. We will get into eventing probably later just because it's
It's much
really
more difficult.
yes. It is very difficult, and there's so much you can do with eventing.
There really is. It's a lot
This
of fun.
is region mode. I use region mode with a specific script, which we will also be getting into scripting later as well.
Which I have yet to understand even.
She's
It's
still a
true.
beginner as well. So we have our own learning partner thing. I don't know. Just getting on with the show. So today will be basics. We'll be covering the basics. So, what exactly are the basics of RPG Maker?
Well, you need a story for one thing.
Well, that is true. And that kind of goes into eventing. We'll get into that. But what is the most basic thing that you have to start out with before even going into RPG Maker, Venya?
Making land or the buildings. I'm guessing here.
Even more basic than that.
Um, I just lost the word for it. Um, is it source manager?
What? No. What? I think you're overthinking it just a bit.
I don't remember then.
Yeah, I'm just
You're
playing.
teaching me here.
I know. Actually, the most basic thing you want is a name. What are you going to call your project? I started with tutorial just because I'm making a tutorial for you guys. But
Tutorial.
I'm just messing with you right now. Let's get into some basics. As you can see,
Thanks.
I just drew some land here. So, of course, you don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean because I'm pretty sure water is an impassable tile. So you're just going to get stuck. I'll get into passable, impassable, and special tiles later on as well. Because they're going to become really important if you want to kind of make set up different areas where you don't want people to go into so they can't just cross everything ever and walk through a maze instead of actually going through the
Yeah, you
maze.
don't want them walking through the walls.
Yep. Unless they're like a shadow hand from like Zelda, then sure, walk through walls. So there's different things you can do. See, you could plant trees. You can extend the land outwards a bit. You can also right click to copy a block and paint with it so you don't have to keep finding it in the left slot. By the way, in case you haven't noticed, the left holds all of your tiles that you currently have. See, there's the A slot, which is normally the first layer. You kind of want to lay down your first layer's foundation before you go into the B slot. This is everything that goes above the layer, such as mountain ranges or towns, stuff like that. Now, this is just simple blah da. Of course, when you make your real map, it's not going to look so weird like this.
Random.
Yeah, this is
Random.
me dropping random bombs everywhere. See? Because you can't have a magical door in the middle of nowhere. Well, you could, but
You could, but not the way other people would like.
no. Oops. So, that's simplicity at its best. Though, for that random door, I may have use for it. So I'm going to stick that random door right here.
Hello, random door.
Hi, random door. Don't suck us up and shoot us into random places. But yeah, you're going to want a solid foundation for your ground. Now, next, as you can see, there's the character. Character is the starting area right here. This is designed to start because it has an S on it. This is where, when you start the game, your character will first appear. Now, this can be changed, of course, when you could just click on it and drag it, move it around. Or you can send it to a different map by going to Database, System, and choosing it from here on the Systems tab. Starting positions, player, and then click the three dots, and it'll bring up all your maps that you've made and a small little overview of what the map looks like.
See, I didn't know that.
Learning.
I am learning.
If we go over, and before anyone asks, of course, the database is the most extensive use out of your game. This is where everything is controlled. You have your actors, your classes, your skills, your items, weapons, armor, enemies, troops, states, animations, tile sets, common events, systems, and terms.
Which everything here can be changed.
Completely customizable in every single way.
Yeah, the fun part.
Fun part is going through skills. Skills are very fun, especially if you want to make your own.
Yep.
Enemies is extremely customizable. You can use your own pictures. You can use your own stats. Hell, you can make an enemy one shot your whole party if you want, but I wouldn't recommend that. Troops is similar, but that's if you want to add more enemies into one battle rather than just one. You can also do quite a few things with scripting, so that, like in mid battle, you can have people talk.
In this game, scripting is actually easier than just making your own. It'll actually, like, put it in for you, technically, if you choose the right ones.
That is true. Because when you open up a script, you'll get all these different options to do what you feel, whatever you want to do. You want to make a giant slime thing that attacks everybody? Go for it. It's totally your imagination's limit. But of course, you can't do anything with your imagination if you don't know what you're doing. So that's why we're here.
We're here to make your life a little easier.
Exactly. That's Southern accent. So for basics, make sure you know what each tool does so you're not ruining the map by running around doing everything. For those of advanced, if you do want to pretty up your map later on, the shadow pen will be your best friend. Um, First of all, let's open up character generator because not everyone likes the default characters that they give.
Yeah, the standard stuff is usually pretty boring.
So why don't we make a little fun here? Let's have a female, black hair. You get to mess around and just see what you can kind of create. So,
There's like another program as well that you can use if you want to get like more technical into it, but I'll mention that later.
I'm guessing that's Venya's area of technicality because I actually did not know that.
It's called Game Character Hub.
I didn't know that. Huh. Interesting.
Came with the Humble Bundle.
Of course it did.
Of course it did. She's evil.
So I'm just making a simple character here.
That was
And
nuts.
she looked interesting.
Holy crap. Well, she only wants to bite you.
Just a little bit. Let's give her some.
Ears.
Oh, those look interesting. Little tail.
Tail. Gotta have a tail. It's kind of difficult to have a tail with that long hair.
Yeah, but you get used to it. I don't know where the. I think that's it. Yeah. That's some wings.
I love doing that, giving them tail, ears, and wings. It's always interesting.
Now, doesn't she look menacing? Uh huh. Okay.
Also,
So,
I think you can actually use the regular paint program if you have this right, or Photoshop is better. But you can customize all this in basic stuff if you find the right picture.
exactly. So, here we have some evil thing. Let's just call her an evil thing for now. So, what you want to do is click Output Face, and it will take you to the folder of where you can output it. This I will name one of my own characters, and you do it for both. Output face, so when they talk, you can put their face there. Then you output character, so you actually have the image of the character when you want to put it into the game. Save them both, and there you go. So, we have the main character now. We just made a character, so why don't we change it up? Go to actors on the database and go to the first one, Eric. Well, I'm pretty sure since we made a girl, his name's not going to be Eric. Or her name,
Yep.
rather. So we change it to whatever name you feel like it. Nickname can be anything as well. This does not affect much, and it's
Bitey.
actually Bitey.
Bitey.
Bitey. Okay, we'll go with Bitey just cause. Now,
That's
find the character graphics of the character you just made, select them, double click. Same with face, because Bitey.
oh come on! Doesn't she look like she bite you?
Well, I'm guessing with the demon kind of look, yeah. This you can change up whatever. She bites. Let's just put that.
Okay.
And starting equipment, you could always change this up. I like to not put starting equipment all the time because it's you
It's
kind
more
of
fun
want
to
to.
find them.
Yeah, you could. It really depends on your story. Next is class. The class is basically the the core of your character. So of course we're going to make a new class because we want to customize it without having to use what's already given to us. So I'm going to name this demon. Make sure to change the class to this on her actor page, or it will just use the default. And hit apply. Over here, if you really want to get technical, with your game,
Holy crap!
you can mess with the EXP curve. This
Huh.
basically lists how much EXP you need per level. So the base value you can make higher so it gets more difficult, or you can lower it so it gets much easier. It's really your preference. So right now we have everything pretty even. This is about average. If you really want to be a hard ass, just set everything to max. But I will warn you, leveling at that is really difficult, especially if your EXP curve, the EXP that your mobs give, does not reflect the curve. You have to do a lot of balance changes if you want to get it just right. You'll never hit it on the first shot.
I've always thought that was the hard part, balancing it.
Balancing is very hard. It actually may be the hardest part just because one person cannot do a balance themselves. You have to have multiple people testing it because everyone has a different playstyle.
That's always the hard part for me too, because I don't know that many people to actually try it.
Yeah, I don't. I have the same issue. We're gonna leave the EXP at normal because I don't want to get it too difficult and then wind up like dying later on. That would not be a very good guide for you guys.
No.
So, flatline normal. Parameters. Like I said, I was doing basics today. This is not basic, let me tell you. So, I will just go through everything that I can possibly find today, and if there are any questions, send me a message on Twitch or YouTube or Twitter. I don't care. I will be happy to answer anything, and Venya will as well.
Of course.
Even though she may not know what she's talking about.
Yeah,
I'm
I may
joking.
just go to him.
Anyway, parameters. So, what do you see? A colorful graph? It's pretty orange. You could draw all over it. Don't do what I just did, by the way.
Don't do that!
So, basically, this is the value of your health at level 1. 450. A little high. Why don't we kind of balance this out? Actually, we'll do it this way. At level 1, we'll have 100 health. Simple. Seems reasonable. Level 99 is the max level. So, we're a demon class. So, what do you think, Venya? What would a demon class entail in terms of health?
Depends. Is it magic or
This will
is
be a
it
magic class, yes.
um I've always thought magic classes should have like lower health because they're more magic based and they should have like the best magic mana and such.
So, what do you think is a good maximum health gauge for
That should work fine.
100 to
Hopefully.
6,000?
Yeah, because you're like low at first, but you do get higher.
All right. So now we're dealing with magic power.
Yeah, that should be higher for sure.
So 9,000 would be a whoa.
Whoa, maybe not so
Maybe
much.
not so much.
It's over 9,000. Sorry, I had to do it.
Chat too. Huh. Even this
Huh.
magic power is interesting because this is 100 to 6,000. But when we go here, 100 to 6,000 is pretty big. I'm guessing the MP growth is much
Okay.
different than the HP growth. I'm actually surprised about that. I didn't know that myself. So we'll go with 9,000 just because with we have a mage here, so we're gonna
Yeah,
want to
and a
have a
demon
lot of
at most, so
we're gonna
demons are
have
meant to be pretty strong.
exactly. All right, let's move over to attack. You want to keep your attack power low in the beginning because if you go at 100 and you're dealing with base level mobs, level 1 mobs are kind of around 20 attack power with really low defense, however you tweak it. So you're going to kind of want to start out around the 10-20 area for level 1 and balance it accordingly. We have a demon mage. So attack power is physical. We're not going to be dealing with physical a lot.
Yeah.
So I'd cap it around 150.
Yeah, that works.
150 is decent. Now we're going into defense. Defense is your physical defense. So anything that attacks you physically, this will be taken off of it. Again, we're dealing with a mage, so physical defense would be a lower factor. But we also have to make sure that we're not tweaking it too low or everything will be one shot in the end, and we don't want that.
Yeah.
So, how about a solid 200 for defense at the end?
Okay.
Well, actually,
I don't know. I kind of feel like that the level one should be a little higher.
the what?
The level one, at least, like a little higher.
15?
That'll work.
I almost forgot that this is the base at level 99. We're not accounting equipment and passive abilities.
Yeah.
So I believe 200 will be fine. You can balance this to your according, whatever you want. So we'll leave it at that. Magic attack.
Magic
Well,
should be very high.
we're dealing with mage. So we'll probably start off with like 18. And 230 will probably be the cap because that's our main stat.
Okay.
Simple and easy.
This does seem like the easy part.
I'm actually getting more into advanced stuff, but when we go into balancing, oh, where did
Yeah,
it go?
balancing is much harder.
All right,
Magic defense.
magic defense. So, magic defense. We're mage. Our physical defense is not very high, but our magical defense will be high.
Yeah.
So we'll go from. We were at 200, so we'll probably end it with 300 here.
Okay. Yeah.
Agility. Ooh. Agility and luck are two stats that are not very important, but no, actually, I lied. Agility
Yeah, I was
is
gonna say.
important. Luck is not very important because you need a huge number in luck to see a difference, and you're not really going to get that in this game. Agility is how fast you attack. So the highest agility character will go first, and then follow so far so forth. If you've played Pokemon, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Where our mage is a demon and has wings. So putting that into factor, she's pretty good, going to be pretty fast.
At least in the air.
Yeah. So we'll start out with a 20 solid and end at a 200.
Okay.
And luck, I would leave. Luck is really weird and how you tweak it. So unless you really, really want to mess with it, which most of the time you're not going to really want to, just leave it as is. And our parameters are done.
Ta-da! Oh, wow.
Yeah, that MP
I know.
gone. All right. So we have our class name, we have our EXP curve, we have our parameter curves. I will not get into skills today because skills are going to take up a lot of time. For now, I would just say give it the normal auto attack. Because that's what everyone starts out with. Mage,
Yeah.
physical, whatever. Features. Features. These are the base features. You could place your mouse over it to see what each abbreviation stands for. Target rate, guard effect, recovery effects, from pharmacology. What the hell does that mean?
I
Holy cow.
think that's pharmacy.
Why is there a pharmacy stat? That's interesting.
Medicine? I don't know. I'm guessing it means healing.
I'm not I'm not exactly sure. I'm not
I'm not sure
completely
either.
knowledgeable in this, but I know enough. So that's all right. We don't have to really mess with that. What we want to look at is this: add skill type special. We have a mage, so we're going to want to switch that to magic. This will give you access to the magic tab in your menu.
Okay.
So when you have magic attacks, it will be accessible. Now,
Yeah.
moving on. Equipment type: an axe. We're a mage.
I don't think we want an axe.
Let's switch to staff. Is there anything else? Staff? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Armor. We have
Magic
general
armor?
armor, magic armor, light, heavy, and then shields. So what we're going to do is we're going to make two. We're going to make one for light armor and we're going to make one for magic. Mages don't use heavy armor or shields.
Yeah, good idea.
And then notes, just leave alone. This is normally for your own benefit, but there are some scripts later on that will use this. Scripting is very important if you want to add extra effects to your game. Scripts are player made. There are a lot of them all over, and we'll get into some really, really good ones later on.
That he has, anyways. I don't have many yet.
You have one.
One.
She's working on it.
I
Anyway.
am working on it.
We're done. This is basically how you set up a class. Make sure that your class is set up. So over here on Aelita or Bitey, whatever you want to call her, you have it. You have features over here as well. These are not really needed because you kind of took care of everything on the other thing. We'll get to that later on if we need it. It's not
Don't forget
too.
to click apply.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, don't forget to click apply. I've made so many errors while doing that.
Yeah, you don't want to like have to restart everything if you don't click apply.
Exactly. Now, we're back over here. As you can see, our picture changed.
That's our main character now.
Yep. So, if we were to save this, please don't. Yep. One thing you might want to know is that is really loud. So make sure your volume is set a little low on RPG Maker because
A little, oh.
Blast your eardrums to kingdom come, let me
Yeah,
tell you.
seriously.
So, here's our game. Simple. You can move around with the arrow keys. Doot, 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 doot. I walk on the door. You can't really go into the water because apparently our Bitey here is afraid of water. But no, it's actually an impassable tile. And she's apparently a giant because I'm stepping on houses and shit. But doot doot doot. No.
It's like think of like the older versions of Final Fantasy. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like for the Game Boy.
Mhm. It's exactly what that is. So, as far as everyone knows, this is basics right here. You made a character, you set her up, you've made a map, hopefully a more better looking map than my little demonstration here. You've done her stats and you have decided what she is. Her name or he, depending. I'm saying she because my character's a girl. Now, closing that out, that's basics for RPG Maker in its very basic form.
It's very fun.
It's extremely annoying at times, but it can be very entertaining, especially if you're
Yeah,
very
but
into.
making anything like this is always going to be annoying in some way because you have to. It's very repetitive.
It's very repetitive, but it's also very productive.
Yeah.
It gets you, if you ever want to be a game designer, you kind of can try to do this and over the course of time get better in it. This is
Hope.
just very basic.
Yeah.
All right. That would be lesson 1.
Lesson one. Yay! We got through lesson one.
Oh, don't yay yet. There's the more painful lessons are coming up.
I know.
But that's basics for RPG Maker. If you really want to go into more in depth with RPG Maker, stay tuned for our further tutorials because later on we're going to get into eventing, of course.
Yep. Events are actually very important.
You can't have any flow without events. Events control the speeches of the character, the movements, moving between maps, and all that. We're going to get into scripting to add additional systems to your game. We are going
Which
to
is
get
usually very interesting.
Yes. We are going to get into map flow, a very important process that a lot of people overlook.
Shut up.
It wasn't directed at you, though yes it was.
Yes, it was.
Map flow is to make sure your maps kind of correspond with each other and not you're teleporting from inside a room to
Yeah,
outside and
that's
then
what I do.
inside and then outside. And I will also later on, probably second or third tutorial, teach you about introductions. They are very important and that you kind of want to flow them. Intros are really fun to make because it opens your story and gives your the players of your game a, a couple of questions that'll keep them playing. Like, who did this? How did this person die? Etc. But anyway, for now, that was the first tutorial on basic RPG Maker. Anything to add?
Are we ending this now?
Yeah, pretty much. That was the
Oh,
first tutorial.
okay.
The first tutorial is rather short because we're just going over basics. But
Yeah,
when we
I was
go
gonna say, it was
into
very short.
the others, we'll be explaining a lot more. This was very
Yeah.
basic. I did do some unbasic stuff. That's not even a word, but
It is
parameter.
now.
Apparently, we made a new word. Hurrah! No. Parameters were a little bit later, but I'm pretty sure that anyone who is watching is smart enough to understand what I'm talking about. And like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm not gonna bite, unlike our character who's named Bitey.
It's not my fault you made her bitey.
Just fangs. You want?
I know.
Anyway, that's about it for our first tutorial. We will be
Hope you
back
enjoy
again.
it.
Yep. Later.
Bye.